viewers, I am Dr. Shweta Sharma of the Department of Applied Science and Humanities, Faculty of Engineering and Technology. In this video, we are going to describe about the different aspects that are associated with the ecosystem. So, as you can see in the figure, the ecosystem is defined as the interrelationship and interaction that exists between the living components and the non-living components, and this interaction and interrelationship culminates in an orderly, self-sufficient manner, and it is called as ecosystem. In a given area, the living components interact with their non-living environment. It can be both physical as well as chemical, and it in such a way that it leads to a clearly defined trophic level, material cycling, that is the exchange of materials between the living components and the non-living environment in the system. An ecosystem is the highest order of ecological integration, which is based on the energy. And this functional unit is capable of energy accumulation, transformation and circulation. Its functional role in the ecological sense is to emphasize obligatory relations, transformations and causal relations. For instance, the climate controls the development and distribution of plants, animals and soil. On the other hand, the climate is in turn affected by the type and nature of the vegetations, animals and the human activities. Furthermore, the vegetation is also affected by the presence of the animals, and the animals exert some type of influence on the plants also. For example, when the animals respire, they take oxygen and they give back carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide can be used by the plants for the photosynthesis. The animals also excrete waste materials, and these waste materials can act as enhancers for the plants that can promote their growth and development. Similarly, there is some kind of reciprocal relationship between soil flora and soil fauna, and these interrelationships and ecosystems are categorized in the word ecosystem. So ecosystem can be generally classified into two categories. It can be a natural ecosystem and it can be an artificial ecosystem. In the artificial ecosystem, there is a dominance of one or two species, and it is based on the choice of the human beings. The primary objective of creating an artificial ecosystem by the humans is to derive maximum benefit or productivity from the resources that are available in that particular area, and in order to meet out this objective, the human adds plant manipulation to the physical and chemical environment of the ecosystem that is concerned. And in the examples of artificial ecosystem, one can count the artificial lakes, reservoirs and the crop plants. Now coming to the natural ecosystem is self-sufficient and self-regulatory, and there is no much interference of humans in the natural ecosystems. The natural ecosystems can be further subdivided into two broad categories. It can be a terrestrial ecosystem or it can be a aqueous ecosystem. The terrestrial ecosystem is associated with the land, while the marine ecosystem or the aqueous ecosystem is associated with the water. The difference between the terrestrial and the aqueous ecosystem is that the terrestrial ecosystem is limited by the availability of the water, and also in the terrestrial ecosystem there is diurnal and seasonal variation of light and temperature. And because of these contrasting factors, the composition of flora and fauna in both the ecosystems is different. As you can see in the figure, the terrestrial ecosystem is further subdivided into four categories. The terrestrial ecosystems can be forest, it can be in the desert, it can be in the grasslands or in the mountains. So if we talk about the forest, then forests occupy 40% of the total available land, and in the forest ecosystem the trees are dominant like Tectona grandis, Soria robusta, Digitaria and Picea, Acer, Quercus, etc. The trees in the forest ecosystem shows greater diversity and different layers of stratification, especially in the tropical forest. Now coming to the grassland ecosystem, the grassland ecosystem shows the dominance of the grasses, and it occupies approximately 25% of the landscape that is available to us. If we talk about the desert ecosystem, then the deserts occupy 17% of the land area that is available to us, and the desert is characterized by the annual precipitation which is less than 25 centimeter, and because of this the water is very limiting in this ecosystem. In addition to the limitation of water, it is also characterized by the extremes of temperature and light. These areas are very high. These areas receive very high temperature, and as a result the organisms or the plants that are present in this ecosystem are variously modified and adapted to live in the extremes of both water and temperature. uh, for instance, if we talk about the plants, then the plants have several modified organs, like their leaves are modified into needle-like structure in order to minimize the evaporation and transpiration process. Also, they are covered with a thick cuticle, and most of them are succulent, like the cactus plants. In addition, their root systems are also very branched and diverse in order to absorb the minimum water which is available to them very efficiently, and these modifications help the animals and the plants to survive in the desert harsh conditions. The next ecosystem is the mountain ecosystem. The characteristic of the mountain ecosystem is that the composition of flora and fauna in the mountains vary with the altitude, and therefore their species composition changes with the height. The next major ecosystem in the natural ecosystem is the aqueous ecosystem, which can be further subdivided into two categories. There can be a marine ecosystem as well as freshwater ecosystem. The marine ecosystem is characterized by the presence of high salt content of sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and in the form of sodium chloride, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, or potassium chloride. The concentration of salts in the marine ecosystem can be as high as 35 parts per thousand, with the dominance of sodium chloride. And because of the high content of salt in this ecosystem, the composition of animals and plants in the marine ecosystem is very different from that of the freshwater ecosystem. Now coming to the freshwater ecosystem, the freshwater ecosystem can be further of two types. It can be lotic as well as it can be lentic. The term lotic freshwater ecosystem is associated with the running water, and the example of lotic freshwater ecosystem is springs, streams, and rivers, while the examples of lentic freshwater ecosystem is ponds, lakes, and the lentic freshwater ecosystem is associated with the standing or the stagnant water. So this is the classification and the definition of the ecosystem. In the next video, I am going to describe about the structure of the ecosystem. This is all for now. Thank you for watching.